Welcome back to the Derek Loudermilk Show. If you want more abundance and prosperity in your life, then this is the episode for you. This is episode 2 in our series about the 5 levels of abundance. And today we're going to be talking about information and ideas and creativity and how that leads to abundance. And remember, our definition of abundance is being able to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And I'm creating this series because I see so many people get caught up in thinking money is the best way to achieve abundance. And it's a very limiting perspective, and you're going to get trapped in only 20% of the possible abundance. One of the vehicles, of course, is money. We'll talk about that. But you can get trapped if you think money is going to be the quickest or best way to do what you want to do when you want to do it. So let's talk about ideas. First, let me share an example. We were visiting my mother-in-law in California, and we came home to her place, and she had her tub faucet she couldn't turn it off, and so it was just like all this water was running, and it was about to flood the bathroom. And she called the emergency plumber, and they were like, "We can send someone out, but it'll be 2 hours, and it'll be $150." And it was like water flowing everywhere. And, she was very freaking out, and so I thought, I wonder if I can just fix it myself. So I went and I looked at the faucet, found the brand, looked on YouTube how to tighten or stop water leaking on this particular faucet type. Boom, there's a video. I watched the video, 3 minutes, took me a couple minutes, tighten the faucet, the water shut off, everything's back to normal. And she was really impressed because she hadn't thought of, just accessing that. And so we have YouTube, we have Google, we have access to a lot of this information. The key is, are you thinking about it, right? Her first instinct was, I got to hire somebody. I got to pay somebody to do this for me. So there's a lot of times when you can access the right information right when you need it using the internet, or if it's a book, if you need to learn about negotiation, if you're about to go get a job or make a deal, right? You can learn about negotiation. You can take a quick online course to bump up your skills right when you need it. Now, the other side of it is you can just sort of read and learn broadly, so you start having models of thinking, frameworks of thinking, so you can place new things in context. So learning things before you need them, or learning things right when you need them. The advantage, of course, of learning things before you need them is that you can start to combine ideas. When you get to the cutting edge of one field and another field, you can start to have what James Altucher calls idea sex. And let's talk about James Altucher for a second, because he he shares his wonderful story of how he comes up with 10 ideas every day, and he's done it for a couple decades, I think. And I do this myself, and it's definitely a muscle that you can get in shape. You can get better ideas. You can come up with more ideas, more creative solutions. You can also give those ideas away to people that need them. But getting in the practice of coming up with ideas every day, 10 ways I can make my business better, 10 ways I can make my relationships better, 10 ways I can help my neighborhood. So that when it comes time to generating the ideas you need to, again, do what you need to do when you need to do it, it's going to flow much more easily. So I'll just briefly touch on the practice of enhancing your creativity. Now, creativity, again, is something that's trainable. And what I love about all these things is that, money, there's a lot to, how do you earn it? How do you keep it, invest it? How do you charge for it, your value, and all this stuff? We'll talk about that in another episode. But with the value of information and ideas, you can train and get better at getting better ideas as well. So let's talk about creativity. When you're working on creativity, you want to separate the creation of the ideas with the assessment of ideas. And this is because we all have an internal editor. We all have that voice inside us that wants us to look good. So a lot of times when we're speaking or writing an email or creative writing or any of that stuff, we're going to constantly be editing. You might write a sentence in an email and then go back, delete, write it again so it sounds better, and we're editing so that we look good. But in the creative process, you want to sort of bypass the editor. So you can give yourself constraints like, how could we solve this problem in the most dangerous way? How could we solve this in the most expensive way, or the fastest way, or the weirdest way, or any of these things? And what this can do, this helps you get outside of the box of, sort of the normalcy of what you might think of first. again, that's why the 10 ideas a day really helps, because your first 8 ideas, right, they're all the conventional ones. When you start getting to the later ideas, then you really have to push yourself to be more outside the box. Then you've got your ideas, maybe they're all on a whiteboard or a mind map or a list or whatever it is. Then you can go back and say, which ones of these are feasible to, again, get me what I want when I want. Which ones do I actually want to implement? Can I combine ideas? Can I piggyback? All of these different ways to use the ideas. So let me give you an exercise here really quick. It's called free writing. I talk about this in my book. We've previously had Mark Levy, the guy who sort of popularized this, on the show. Free writing is perhaps my favorite creativity tool. And what you have to do is very simple. You write as fast as you can for 15 minutes. And what happens is that if you keep writing and you force yourself to keep writing, and if you can't think of anything, right, you're just saying, can't think of anything, type, whatever's coming out, or your handwriting, you want to be going so fast that your brain can't keep up. And then you start to get into the real creative part of your subconscious. Whatever your prompt is, maybe it's about solving a problem, maybe it's about ideas for your business or for your city, for your neighborhood, whatever it might be. And so you start writing, and the first few minutes, you sort of get out all the things that you've already thought about. And then you have this open space, this blue ocean where new thoughts can come from your subconscious. You can channel these out of your creative impulse and get them on the page. And that's where you discover your creativity. So if you have any challenges in your life or decisions or problems that you're working on, or something that, again, you want to do in a certain amount of time, and you want help with the information, with the creative idea side of abundance, try free writing. It's amazing. And if you do try it, would love for you to send me a message and let me know how it worked. If it's amazing, then definitely want to hear about that. So you can follow me on Instagram and send me a message at Derek Loudermilk, or you could even send me a personal email, derek@derekloudermilk.com. Would love to hear how this works for you. And of course, we'll also tag Mark Levy. We'll also tell him that his technique is working for us. The last thing I'll touch on here is, again, the means of accessing all these different 5 levels of abundance can often be done through your network. And so another aspect of this, and I'll tie it all together with a piece about building a world-class network. That'll be episode 6 in the series. But if you can call up somebody, like you need legal advice. I'm actually in the middle of doing this. I'm trying to determine the limits of the psychedelic mushroom restriction in the U.S. Anyway, it's a project I'm working on. I'll tell you about it in a little bit. But I'm working on this project, and I need legal guidance, right? So if I have access to a lawyer that I can just call up and chat with, then that's going to save me so much time having to do research by myself. So it helps me get what I want when I want to do it. If you have a doctor, if you have an expert contractor for your home repairs, any of these things, it's going to save you time. I remember another story. I was pitched to do a TV show on the History Channel about adventure, and I never really thought much about having a TV show, so I didn't know anything about it. But I have a few friends that have worked in the TV biz, have hosted their own shows, have won Emmys, and so I reached out to a few of them, and I said, "Hey, how can I make this a good pitch? How can I make this a good interaction?" It never really panned out to anything. We only got a couple steps down the line of the process, but it was really helpful to know that I was going to be going in prepared, right? It saved me a lot of time and a lot of headache to be able to call up the right people. So I want you to start thinking about the access points to many of these. Let's say the access point to all of these levels of abundance can be through your network. All right, that's all for today. Remember, week 1 was about training yourself to have better luck, better serendipity. Today was about getting access to better information, more creativity, information at the key moments. And all of this these can all be combined to help you get to abundance, to get what you need when you need it. All right, thanks so much for listening. Now it's your turn to go out there and be creative.